Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Life Trek with Soul Sisters, where we dive into the journey of life. Today's episode is very close to our hearts because it's a tribute to the women who gave us life, love, soul, and made us what we are. It's our Mother's Day special.
And whether you are a mother, have one, lost one, miss one, or are becoming one, this conversation is for you because motherhood is not just a role, it's a journey of pain, love, sacrifice, and celebration.
Sangeeta, I so agree with that. A mother is not just someone who gives birth or is a legal parent. A mother is someone who undertakes a long, long journey. She chooses to show up day after day, every single day, no matter how she is, no matter where she is. Motherhood is all about being present.
Yeah, and most of the time, that presence might go unnoticed also
Yeah.
because a mother does a lot of invisible work. She's the emotional pillar of the family. She remembers the birthdays and the doctor's appointments. She remembers your tears and your smiles and the reasons for those. She also understands your nightmares and your dreams and your silences and your constant ramblings. That's what motherhood is all about. And that's what we are here to celebrate today.
Hi everybody, happy Mother's Day. I'm picnicking outside today, celebrating Mother's Day in advance. But about motherhood, I don't think there is anything to be open about. It's the most transparent. Everybody is open about how we feel. It's the most transparent love, fulfilling love on earth. And we all mothers share the same feeling. We feel for our kids, and our mothers felt for us also. So that's all I can say. Bye.
To all the new moms out there, I know this phase can feel overwhelming, the sleepless nights, the changes in your body, the lack of personal time, and the feeling that your whole world now revolves around your baby. You may miss traveling, hobbies, or even just a moment of silence. I've been there and I want to share few simple pieces of advice that has helped me. The first one, always remember that this is a temporary phase. You will get back in shape, you will sleep again, you will return to doing the things that you love. Right now, it may feel far away, but it's coming. The second one, you are rich if you own your day. Do not allow fret and anxiety to invade your day and steal your peace. You are not just raising a child, you are living a life, a rich, meaningful, and evolving life. The third one, build your support system. Whether you are a working mom or a stay at home mom, surround yourself with people that uplift you. Don't hesitate to ask for help. It does really take a village. The fourth one, enjoy the journey. These moments with your baby are precious and fleeting. It is easy to think it's easier when they grow up, but believe me, every stage has its own challenges. What you have now, you will never get back. So try to cherish the now, even in the chaos. So, to all the new moms, you are unique, you are doing amazing. Happy Mother's Day.
When we talk about celebrating motherhood, it's so important to remember motherhood has not always looked like what it does today. The role of a mother in India has changed so much over the last 5 decades. In our grandparents' time, a mother was a quiet, all sacrificing presence whose world revolved around the home, raising children, managing the kitchen, and holding the family together. She did not have her own needs or her own life.
Yeah, Sangeeta, and then then the shift in our parents' generation, where more women got educated, they stepped into the workforce, so they just stepped outside of home, starting to balance both home and the outside world, right? So they were still mothers, of course, but they were also pioneers who were getting a sense of who they were. They were becoming their own persons, individuals in their own right, right?
Yeah,
That's what we saw
exactly.
mothers.
Very true.
Hmm.
And fast forward to today, mothers are not just nurturers. They are thinkers, they are builders, entrepreneurs, decision makers. They're showing up as whole people, with their own passions, with their own opinions, boundaries, while ensuring that each child gets the personalized care and attention they demand. And they're raising kids who ask questions, who seek equality, who challenge stereotypes.
Absolutely. And through all this evolution, I feel what's really beautiful is that the definition of mothers as nurturers and caregivers has remained the same.
Right.
More roles have been added without taking out the previous roles.
Mm.
And mothers, as usual, have stepped up to the challenge and the newly adjusted role definitions. And let's be honest, the change has not been easy and it has not reached everyone equally. But I think it's happening quietly, powerfully, maybe one brave mother at a time.
Yes.
So today we also honored that evolution from the unseen mother of 50 years back to the unstoppable mother of today.
Today. Yeah.
Happy Mother's Day to all the wonderful moms out there. Motherhood is the purest form of all. A mother needs no words, no praise, no recognition. She gives her all and asks for nothing in return. I have been blessed with two loving sons who are now young men, both born and raised here in Southern California. With no immediate family nearby and being a working mom, I leaned heavily on the love and support of my friends and community. I'm so deeply grateful for that village. In those early days when my boys were just born, I was often overwhelmed but always surrounded. Meals would appear at my door, dishes should be done, and errands handled, all while I grabbed a much needed nap. From school drop offs to sports practices to spontaneous babysitting, my friends were always there for me. My boys, even as little kids, understood the rhythm of our life. They patiently waited for late dinners, ate leftover without any complaint, did homework beside the kitchen, and yes, sometimes they wore unwashed jersey because mom forgot to do laundry. Now, as empty nester, I look back on those chaotic but beautiful years and so much love. I treasure every call, every story from their day, and nothing fills my heart more than a call saying, Mom, I'm coming home. The journey wouldn't have been the same without Gati, my husband. He's been my partner for every sleepless night, every school project, and has been the passion behind sports for my boys. I'm so grateful we got to do this together. And finally, happy Mother's Day to my
As a woman, I feel gifted with an inner strength. As a mother, juggling work, home, and children tested my endurance and resilience in difficult times. I would plan and prioritize and prepare my routine in a way that kept my family needs and my work obligations balanced. I always kept my priorities right. My children's emotional well being was equally important, along with fulfilling my professional responsibilities. All of it was possible because of my greatest support system, my family. I would openly communicate with them, and that helped my children understand and adjust to challenges. Taking care of myself was as important as taking care of everyone around me. From my personal experience, flexibility became my superpower. There are two aspects of flexibility. First is strategic and about choosing the appropriate profession at different stages of raising the family. Some may take a break from professional work, while others change profession to slow down a bit. I chose the latter for a decade, but here I am, back with a bang, to the high speed, hectic work. I feel refreshed and much more energized to rake on the next decade in my profession. You own such decisions, and others, including family, can only empathize. The second is more tactical. While it is ideal for a woman to do justice and divide time equally between home, work, and children, there will be the tough days. where you have to prioritize one over the other. This is where talking with family helps. Make it a family decision. My last three mantras for success are: believe in yourself and get inspired by the role models around you. Last but not the least, celebrate each milestone along the journey with your family.
And while on the topic of evolution of motherhood, I would like to ask you both about the evolution of another kind. The way your equation with your child has changed as the child has grown. How do you say?
Well, let me start. I think, when the nurse in the labor room mentioned that my daughter was born, I was overwhelmed by two kinds of emotion. One was happiness that I had got a confidant for life, and sad that she too would have to go through all the difficulties and the challenges that I had faced in life. But I'm glad to say that both of us have been able to become great friends over the years. We share our sad and happy moments. We also share our problems and seek solutions from each other. Basically, the same equation that I had once shared with my own mother. So I wouldn't say that there has been a change in this equation as she grew up. All throughout, we have been very good friends.
Frankly, Sangeeta, you asked me this question so many times, and I never have an answer. And after Namrata's answer, I feel like I have nothing much to add except maybe a few stories. When my daughter was very small, and it was a constant cycle of just feeding, cleaning, feeding, cleaning. I would just look at her, waiting for her to grow up, and then so that I could have my life back. And then once she grew up, I did not really want my old life back because I enjoyed the current life so much. There were times when we fought and we argued, and then I lost my patience. I think the way the equation has changed is probably I have become much more patient. I am learning as a mother every single day, just as she's learning to be a daughter every single day. So it's a continuous evolution of our relationship where I think I am becoming a better human being as she's growing up.
See, here I would like to add, till certain age, kids are supported and guided by mother. But as a child grows, slowly we see a transition in the role. Mother becomes a friend and seeks for help in learning new skills, trends. And as the child grows further, mother becomes emotionally and sometimes physically dependent. And that's a really amazing role reversal.
I know, Sangeeta, as you were speaking, I was just remembering when my dad passed away. I think my daughter was my biggest support here. She would do
Right.
everything for me. She would just pamper me, and she treated me like her own child. That was the transition in our relationship. Yeah,
Right.
you were right.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, when my son was small, uh, I think it was the love was evident everywhere. It was expressed so easily, and that is one thing which kept me going. That one innocence, that smile really kept me going. Gave a lot of energy to sleep less number of hours, do your things, find some me time, but still be energetic when he's up and take care of him. But now that he's a teenager, since last few years, the love is lost now. There is hardly any expression of love. And that's what I found very challenging initially when this change happened. So I had also taken some counseling sessions when to deal with these changes. But later on, I realized that it's my spiritual learning which is actually at the core of all this. So I feel we both are. I may be playing the role of his mother in this life, but we both are the children of the divine mother, and she is the actual mother. So whenever I feel overwhelmed, I keep telling divine mother, "You put me a role, put me in this role, this important role. So how do you want me to handle this? What do you want me to do?" So basically, pray, and it becomes a teamwork. It has helped many times, and it helps. It's an I mean, it will continue whole life, but yeah, there are still days I find it difficult, but surrendering it in front of Divine Mother and taking her help has really helped.
Blessed, that's the word that comes to mind when I think of my children and being a mother. Actually, blessed twice over. Lucky me, as I I have not one but two daughters. It's been a wonderful 27, 28 years of love, joy, caring, pampering, mutual. Lots of laughs and teasing, which is mostly from my side, and a whole lot of learning for me. Navigating through their different stages of childhood, adolescence, teenage, and now they are adults with strong opinions, strong point of view about most matters. I think I have learned a lot from them, and the most important thing that I think I have learned is to think about myself too sometimes, especially this last a year or two have been going through some struggles with my father's illness and him being in and out of hospital. What they have taught me is not to always do what others want, speak what others would like me to speak, but also do what I would like to do once in a while, to speak my mind as I feel. And most importantly, also to being hurt, to feel sad is all okay, and crying is fine. And every time when my father is sick and we have to admit him, they always immediately they have been the pillars of support for both of us, me and my husband. And whenever my dad is not well, when some problem in the house, both of them immediately would call and ask, how are you two doing? How are you coping? Hope you are okay. I think this question, this concern makes my day and my life.
Motherhood is a beautiful and unique journey for you and you alone. Nobody teaches or prepares you for it. Some of it you learn from your mother, who in turn has learned from her mother. So parts of it are generational, while new pieces evolve with your own experiences. There is no prescribed solution to dealing with difficult situation with children. Being loving or being strict are two very powerful tools in your parenting toolbox. As a mother, nurturing and being loving is a default action, and sometimes you must be deliberate about being strict. In my experience, how you use these tools and in which kinds of situations are dictated by two primary factors. One is the child's age. Between the ages of 3 and 10, you can be lovingly strict. This is when the child observes, absorbs, and learns from his or her parents. However, when they are tweens or teens, you need to be strictly loving because this is when the kids tend to go off the rails and test the boundaries you set. The second key factor is the child's personality. For example, I have two boys with diagonally opposite personalities. The one who is generally compliant does not react well to strictness, while the other is non-compliant and always pushes boundaries. So being strict works better for him. In summary, motherhood is a learning and experimenting process. You need to assess what works best for you and your child while raising them in a psychologically safe and non-judgmental environment.
Hi, I'm Moshmi. My son is Nimish. He's 29 years old and married now. And when he was a child, he was quite super active and super active and very outgoing nature. So I had to put him in a disciplined way. So first thing what I did is that I set some time boundaries for him for each of his activities, like study time and his play time, watching TV, like that. Suppose say he had to come back by 6:30 to home, and after that what he has to do he can do, but he has to come back. So it worked for that time also, and now also it's working. And second thing what I did is that I always try to listen to him very carefully and very patiently, so that what he actually he was doing in the school and with his peer group, and who was there in his peer group, so that accordingly I can handle him. And third and most important thing is that as a parents we have to be disciplined at home, because kids do what they see at home. So we are the role model, so we have to be disciplined at home first, and we have to maintain it. So it worked for me, these three things, and I think it worked that time also, because nowadays it's quite difficult to handle the child, because they are exposed to the digital world. But I think few things we can say that that time also it was working, and now also it can work if you do it in a quite disciplined way.
So I think we understand a lot of things after becoming mothers ourselves, right?
Yeah, true.
So after discussing this equation with our children, let's move on to our next segment, which is on non-standard motherhoods. So Sangeeta, do you want to add something to this?
Yeah. See, when I was around 5 years old, one of my neighbor uncles passed away, and Mausi was left with five young kids to raise, and she had an extremely difficult journey, both financially and emotionally. Not much of family support, also, she was not working either. But she fought and struggled and raised all of them to lead a very good life. So as a child, I remember my mother always used to say, घोड़े पे सवार बाप से घास काटने वाली अम्मी अच्छी है." Meaning, even if the mother has no means, she would look after the kids in any circumstance. That's the power of a mother.
True. Very true.
And I think, this is a very tough subject for me to talk about. As you both know, my brother is a very special child. He's a special child, and I can't even begin to tell you the sacrifices that my mother has done to raise him. You both have seen it for over 30 years now. It's not easy. And that's an understatement, actually. Understanding the needs of a child who is unable to express himself, uh, look after his every need when he's from the day he was born to the day till this day when he's all of 51 years of age. Look after all his needs, help him brush his teeth, bathe him, feed him, everything. Deal with his aggressions, frustrations, his temper, accept his incompleteness, fear for his safety. She's been doing
Yeah.
all this throughout her life. In fact, she's never had a life of her own for as long as I have seen her. She's completely and wholly dedicated to ensuring that my brother's needs are taken care of in the best way possible. And I don't even know how she does it all.
Yeah, Namrata, I always give Mousy's example to so many people. The quiet strength, the complete strength that she has, and doing everything with a smile on her face. She's a role model for, I think, many people. Me, of course. I have, when I think about non-normal, non-standard motherhoods, not normal, non-standard, I would talk about, adaptive children, adaptive mothers. When you read about this in the newspaper, sometimes you read about something that somebody has done, and they're like, XYZ was the adopted child of ABC. And I find it a little irritating, not a little too irritating actually, because once a child is adopted, it's a child. You don't talk about whether it was a normal delivery or cesarean delivery, a surrogate, adopted, IVF, whatever. You just say XYZ was ABC's child, right? So that's what we need to be sensitized to. The second one is, the loss of a child. I don't normally publicly speak about it, but I've written and you've read about it. The last miscarriage I had, I carried the baby only for 12 weeks. And but the loss of the child, I still remember every single moment of that day, even to till today. So once you have a child, even if the child is born, no matter how old the child is, once you lose a child, that grief is with you, inside you forever.
Hey, I feel the feeling of not being able to experience motherhood, whatever the reason may be, is
Mm,
extremely painful.
true.
I think a huge percent of your genuine emotion die down with this. You learn to live with this, but you miss the wonderful blessing of God all along your life.
Yeah, but Sangeeta, ironically, you are the one we come to for parenting advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm somewhat glad that you were talking about your pain today because you normally don't do that.
Mm.
I had decided to leave my MNC job in order to take care of my child myself. Born as an underweight kid, I had to help her grow into a healthy baby. That was the biggest task facing me at that time. I had to decide what to feed her, how to feed her, when to feed her, and then as she started growing, I had to teach her the life skills like walking, talking, bathing, etc., to become a self sufficient kid. Then came the decision on education, which kind of school to go to, which kind of education should I give her, which kind of board should she join. So at every step, a decision had to be made, an action had to be taken by me as a mother, and this was subjected to scrutiny by my family, extended family, and then the society. So it's natural that I had self doubt or guilt about all the decisions and actions that I was taking. But there is no absolute right or wrong in these kind of situations. So I have always told myself that I did what was best under the circumstances for my kid, and no one else will understand the situation better than me. And so there is no point going down the guilt lane and doubting my decisions.
True.
Well, the air has become a little heavy now, so let me lighten it with another story. I have three mother figures in my life, apart from my mom, and I must talk about them or else this episode will not be complete for me. At the age of 5, I went and stayed with my maternal grandparents. I was admitted to a school there, and my biggest mother figure there was, can you guess? It was my mamu. He took complete charge of me. He did everything that my mom would have done and more. Getting me ready for school, ironing my dress, polishing my shoes, combing my hair, dropping me off at school, taking my lunch again during lunch hours, feeding me, bringing me back home after school hours. Everything he used to do. And then the second mother figure was my grandmother. Once I returned home, my grandmother would ensure that I had my meal and I would cuddle next to her, listen to the Bangla dramas on the radio, sleep next to her at night. And the third one is my Mausi. Although she didn't stay with me, but as I was and I still am her daughter. And all three of them doted on me and tried their level best to see that I didn't miss my mom and cry. And I, being a really pampered child, I troubled them so much.
And Namrata, I can't even imagine you being a brat or troubling your uncle and aunt so much. So, well, any
That
more
remains for
personal
them to
stories?
say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was telling any more personal stories.
Okay, Namrata, not, I mean, yeah, I have many stories, but on a different subject. I want to talk about a moment that made me see my mom differently. It might sound funny to you guys, but I have always found this story very tragic. Before I was married, I had always seen my mom eating the tail of the fish, you know. So after my marriage, once my mother-in-law and my mom both were at my place, and I had made fish curry. So I gave my mother-in-law a nice piece of fish, and I gave my mom the tail. So my mother-in-law was like, "Why don't you give her a piece of fish? Are you out of it?" So I said, "No, she likes it." So then my mother-in-law laughed and said, "When you were growing up, maybe there was not enough food at home, so she had the tail. But now you have enough, so give her some nice pieces." I thought I knew my mom, so I insisted that she likes the tail. So then my mother and mom spoke up and said, "She is right. I never had a piece of fish to myself because there was not enough, and I like fish." So no, I of course gave her the piece, and but that day something in me broke. That story for me depicts my life experience of having a mother, and she sacrificed so much without even letting us know that she was sacrificing. Like Namrata told
Ah,
earlier also, if I can be half the mom that my mom still is, my daughter will be blessed. Yet, in a way, that also was a lesson for me to break the pattern of sacrifice at the altar of family. I learned how to prioritize myself because otherwise, nobody will ever understand what I've given up.
Well, let me now tell you my part of the story. In fact, you both are aware of this, and you both were a part of this as well. When we were studying in REC, I used to announce to my mother, "Mom, I'm inviting my friends over for lunch or for snacks." And not once did she turn me down or say it wouldn't be possible. And I didn't have just one or two friends. We were 17 girls in our class of 30, if you remember. And all of them would come, and my mom would happily serve them. And the fool that I was at that time, I had no idea about the amount of effort my mom was putting in to make me happy. I realized it much later when my daughter would invite her friends on her birthday, and the feeling just overwhelmed me. She did all this just to make me happy. Imagine that, feeding 17 girls at short notice with a smile on her face, not one word about causing trouble. That realization made me much more patient with my daughter later on in my life.
And sometimes we also, Sangeeta, we never thought that Mausi was going through any trouble. We just landed up at your house because we were so tired of the hostel food.
And Namrata, you forgot to mention the number of dishes, the spread, and all freshly cooked.
Yeah. And in a very
No
short
help.
time.
And I was a horrible help. I never helped her.
See, I will say something here with a totally different tone. My mother has been counseling us to slowly practice detachment from our parents with their growing age.
Mm.
So, what she tells is that we should be ready to accept the inevitable whenever it comes. Listening to this advice, one would think that she herself must be practicing some of it and she must be ready. To my utter surprise, she couldn't handle my father's loss. I had never seen my mother cry so much. For days, she was not sleeping, not eating properly, just kept on crying. And I had never seen her in such kind of a situation. I didn't expect that. It was a totally different experience for me.
That
It's
must
tough,
have been
because
extremely tough for you to speak about. I know, Sangita. And Mausi, we are so proud to know you and learn from your strengths and vulnerabilities. We love you.
Also, Namrata, I would add some more things about Ma and Ma's emotions. There was a time when three of us were studying outside and in hostel. She used to miss us so much and behaving as if life has come to an end. And to add one caring and loving side of Ma, when I was doing a lot of odd hour travels, she used to be so worried, waking up early or sleeping late just to get the news that I am safe. She would spend so many sleepless nights. Even till now, any of us traveling anywhere in the world, she keeps a track of it. And until we reach safely home, and she calls us to know that she won't go to sleep, and that's how she is.
But Sangeeta, I've seen Mausi for 30 years now. If you look at her, you'll not understand because you feel like she's so strong, she just let you fly and then she doesn't worry. Interesting. I would like to talk about something else now, what we have inherited from our mothers. For me personally, I can sum it up in one word: resilience. Emotional resilience is what I have inherited from my mom, or that's what I think. I do wish I had inherited her cooking skills, but unfortunately, I have not.
One quality I admire a lot in my mother is she never indulged in gossips and always discouraged us from saying anything bad about others, to ignore others' wrongdoings and be loving always. I have inherited some of it, and I'm really proud of it too. Also, I would like to mention the hygiene habits. Because of her, I guess, we had a no street food inclination as such.
Well,
Absolutely.
what I've inherited from my mother is also relates to what you said, Sangeeta. I have also seen our house, always spick and span, not a thing out of place. My mom was also extremely particular about keeping the house clean, and she used to do almost everything herself only. And apart from cleanliness, I also learned never to waste food on my plate. She would often say that people around the world are dying every day because they don't have a morsel of food. And so we don't have a right to waste food on our plate. At least if you don't want to eat, then don't take it. But if you take it, then eat it. It was like that for us.
Sangeeta, remember how much we used to tease Namrata for her spick and span? The everything had to be in its rightful place. Now we know where
Yes,
she got it
the
from.
the perfect place.
Yeah, I remember I used to tell you, you have to sit here. You can't sit here. So, friends, I think we are at the end of today's show. But before we end, we would like to read a short letter from to our mothers. I think, Mother, you can start.
Yeah, Mom, I know you watch every single episode of this show, and you also read everything that I write on my blog or Facebook or whatever. And I know you are my biggest champion. I would like to tell you today that every single thing I do is inspired by you. I am who I am because of not just the way you raised me, but also because of the grace and dignity with which you lead your life. I learn from you every single day. You're my hero, Mom. Thank you for being who you are.
That's so nice.
Namrata, you want to say something from our side?
Yeah, let me read out my letter now. So, Ma, I've seen you struggle throughout life, the challenges you faced, the immense sacrifices you have had to make, and yet making sure that you were there for me whenever I needed you during my growing up years. I know that right now you're feeling very vulnerable after Papa has passed away, but always remember that I'm there for you, come what may. We will face every challenge together and overcome it by the grace of our God.
Now it's my turn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mummy, when I was going through a rough patch, having a number of health issues, I have seen the deep pain and concern in your eyes. That was so different from everybody else. You were the worst hit by this, asking the doctors endless questions, doing so many manasikas, praying God, and whatnot. You left no stone unturned for curing me.
Yeah.
That's what a mother is. And the rebel me, always ready to fight and argue with you. Mimi, you prepare the best enduri pita in the world. And Mummy, I love you.
So sweet. So we end this episode by honoring all mothers, the birth mothers, the adoptive mothers, the grandmothers, the caregivers, the single mothers, the mothers in waiting, the ones who chose not to mother, and the ones who lost their children too soon. Your love echoes in ways you may never see. And here's our invitation to you, our audience. Call the mother in your life, remember her, thank her. And if you are hurt, please know you're doing better than you think. And that's all for today. We'll meet again in another insightful episode. Till then, it's goodbye from me, Namrata, and my friends Sangeeta and Madhumita. And yes, don't forget to like, share this episode, and subscribe to our channel, Life Trek. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy
Happy
Mother's Day.
Mother's Day.